Hey, Gator Nation. Welcome back to the Respect Our Decision podcast. It's November 22nd, and this is your boy Hirsch. And with me, as always, is Mike.
What's going on?
And our hype man, Wes.
Good, Gator Nation.
Hey, we got a lot to talk about tonight, guys. Last game of the season, Florida State week. Short week we're working on here. But before we do, we want to remind everybody, check us out and download each and every podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. Check out our YouTube channel. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like and leave a comment on every video. And if you would like to support us as creators, check out our Patreon at Respect Our Decision. Each and every dollar we make goes right back into the show as we try to keep getting better for you guys. And I got a lot of things planned for here after the season. And as always, guys, do not forget to check out our sponsor at Camwood Supplements. Check out camwoodsupplements.com for all your workout supplements, your post-workout recovery supplements, and your green supplements for your digestive health. Can't recommend them enough. Make sure you use code RESPECT20 and you'll save 20% off your first purchase. And with that being said, guys, we're going to jump right into it like we do every week. It's playoff time in high school football. And we got a lot of Gators out there making things happen this week. And Wes is going to hit us up with our Under the Lights segment. Wes, let us know how they were doing this week, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, Hurst. We got a Fab Five, not to be correlated with Michigan Wolverines, but we got five guys this week that we're going to talk about. The first one is going to be our only linebacker in the class, Jaden Robinson. He had 2 sacks on the night and a pick 6. So shout out for Jaden Robinson. I believe this is his first time on the lights list. So shout out to him on that. A guy that has been on here all year, Eugene Wilson. He had 2 INTs.
Not just an offensive playmaker.
Yeah, and a receiving TD. So Eugene, he took a bump up, and I think On 3 had a special on him today. I saw where he rose in their rankings compared to where he's at in the other countries. So hopefully the other, like I believe Rivers and ESPN, hopefully they take note of what this kid has done in his senior year in high school, because I believe the kid is a phenomenal athlete. I told you guys last week that hopefully he'll take Mike's heart with Whitmore. Another guy who's been a steady guy on the list is Treon Webb. He had 2 more rushing TDs in a playoff win. So shout out to Treon Webb, who's one of the leaders in this class. And our new quarterback, Jaden Rashada, he had 1 TD passing, and he rushed for another. This was his final game in high school, as his team did take a loss. And the last guy on the list is Jakeem Jackson, who also took a bump in the rankings this week. I believe he went top 100 for this week as well on 3. So shout out to Jakeem Jackson. We talked about him when we saw Corey Raymond go after him when he was where he was rated at that point to where he's at now. We see that Corey Raymond does have an eye for recruiting, and this kid has just been steadily jumping up the rankings and had a phenomenal senior campaign for his last year in high school. Any guys you guys want to talk about that you like?
Jaden Robinson. This isn't actually the first time we have talked about him. I mean, it hadn't been a lot, but defensive guys don't usually always get their stats out there. Jaden Robinson has had a huge season. I don't have the season long numbers in front of me, but he has been the leader of his team's defense all year and has had a phenomenal season. And I'd look for him to get a bump in his rankings as well.
Yeah, my bad. I remember I talked about him earlier when he and Creed, when they played each other in the game. So that's my mistake.
And it's no problem. That ain't no problem. Mike, anything of note to you?
Just like to see Jakeem Jackson, like Wes said, just keep on developing, and hopefully it's not the only Cowboy to become the big Gator this cycle. So
yeah, who you hinting at? Other people.
That's a different segment, right?
Oh, okay, great. All right, guys, we're gonna
Osceola Cowboys. Cowboys.
Osceola, baby. We're gonna move on and talk a little recruiting. Not a whole lot to talk about in recruiting this week. Kind of a slow week moving into the last week of the regular football season, you're really going to see recruiting start to jump up probably after this week as we move into the month of December, get through the holidays. As we did mention last week, though, five-star offensive tackle Samson Unkanlola visited last week for a couple of days with his family, and word out of that visit was it couldn't have gone much better than it did. I know probably a lot of people saw his photo shoot that he had posted on Instagram and Twitter. Staff did a phenomenal job setting all that up. Just really, really knocked it out of the park from all accounts. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle to the end. I don't want anyone to get their hopes up, but we're squarely in it. We will probably be getting an official visit the weekend of the 9th. We need him, man. We need a big offensive tackle. We need a five-star offensive tackle. I know Jaden Rashada has reached out to him about coming on down and blocking for him. So, and that's what you want your star quarterback of your class to be doing, is reaching out to these kids and trying to get them to come play with him. I know Mike's thoughts on this young man. I know Mike wants him in this class. Big fan of his. I know Wes is as well. You have a hard time not being a big fan of a kid of this size, stature, and like we said last week, he's pretty much ready day one to step right on in and play.
Yeah, Mike, he was listed about 305. We were talking about in 24/7, and he came in.
His measurables were off the chart.
NFL size, 330. So he's a day one starter. I'll see him. We get him for 3 years. It's So yeah, please, for the love of humanity, let's.
I don't have the measurables in front of me, but I know his wingspan was off the charts.
80 something.
85 and a half.
It was absurd. I was worried about the weight. 305 doesn't get it done. I think you need to be at least 310. Well, you can get it done, but you can get pushed around sometimes in a run game. So I think at that particular size, he moves probably at about 20 pounds lighter. So he may move it like he's 305, but actually with that extra 20 plus pounds, he's day one starter already. Just sculpt the body.
Wes, any thoughts on Samson? I mean, saying it all, man.
Yeah, you guys covered it all. I know you said a 5-star O-line. I just want a 5-star period. So would love to have this kid.
Don't go star chasing.
These kids have 5-star hearts, Wes.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Another young man that we touched on last week and had some breaking news at the last week's episode, Mark Fletcher announced today. This was per Corey Bender at On 3. He tweeted this out that Mark Fletcher would be taking an official visit to Florida the weekend of December 9th. Once again, guys, it's going to be a huge official visit weekend, with the exception of Desmond Ricks, who will be taking his official visit to Florida the weekend before that. That is what the staff has lined up to be the next big weekend. You had Friday Night Lights, you had the LSU weekend, and now the weekend of December 9th is going to be the next one in that cycle of big recruiting weekends. This is going to be another Florida-Miami battle. I mean, it is what it is. We want him. They want him. He's a legacy down there. But some kids want to make their own mark in life. Some kids don't care about that legacy deal. So I know a lot of people. I know the right people feel good about Mark Fletcher right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. I would understand a kid's decision. More goes to him and the legacy, but the judgment there is you don't even know what offense you're playing in next year.
Nope.
Yep. So you don't even know who your coach is going to be. So if you get new OC, I mean, they may actually hire staff correctly and let the OC pick the staff, and a lot of unknown variables just to go to a school, to go where your father went, and you can always go to grad school as well there.
Yep. Wes, any thoughts on Mark Fletcher?
Nah, I felt like we didn't necessarily need a RB2, but he'd be a great addition. Being that now I think I early in the season I didn't think we needed one, but now I feel like we do with Naquan and Lingard.
Lingard probably being gone.
You need four backs.
So you're gonna need, that's what I was saying. Early in the year I didn't think so, but now I've turned the corner on that and think that he would be a great addition just in case somebody get nicked.
And that's why you need him. And that point
Yeah.
right there, when you have this run heavy offense and you cycle your backs in, more than likely, and we've been fortunate, knock on wood again, but
now you get the money.
I know we'll be called out for a jinx because undoubtedly something's about to happen now. But the likelihood running backs get hurt. I mean, it's look at the NFL. You look at the NFL, running backs are. I mean, every team now goes 3 running backs deep because each and every week somebody's turning an ankle.
That was my point. You a turn ankle away.
Shoulder, knee. I mean, running backs get beat up. That's why also going back to the Cedric Baxter argument, I can see why a lot of schools would be hesitant to pay up such a high NIL money to a running back. But, how many true superstars at running back do you get? There's an argument to be made. Me and Mike had that argument. I believe it was week 1 or week 2 of the podcast. It was something we discussed. I mean, but you pile up on really good running backs from 250 up,
Especially in this scheme.
Yes.
This scheme will, it's his own scheme. So just because the sites, 247s, the on threes, they may not necessarily be wrong. However, if they're ranked, like he's ranked around 250 right now, and he could be for us a top 100 kid based on his vision, his cutting ability, so on and so forth.
Yep. So, I mean, you just look back at Trevor Etienne and where he was ranked. I mean,
a very specific, very unique scheme. Well, not unique, very unique.
Yeah,
but
people who watch, who are familiar with the NFL saw what Mike and Kyle Shanahan has done with running backs that fit a particular scheme. You can turn a no-name guy into a 1,500-yard rusher. So, yeah, to Mike's point, scheme.
Mike McDaniel's doing the same thing with the Dolphins as well, with a couple backs. So.
Moving on to the next big man, DJ Lagway, who we said last week has announced his commitment for December 7th. I think by now everybody knows who DJ Lagway is. I don't think I need to go into too much depth there. Excuse me. DJ is visiting USC this weekend. I know a lot of people see that and they're like, oh man, Lincoln Riley, quarterback. Here's the thing with that. People have pretty much said that this is kind of like the Lagways are taking a free trip to LA, get to watch USC and Notre Dame play. He announced his commitment before even making this trip. That ought to tell you something too. And the way Lincoln Riley likes to do with quarterbacks is he likes to skip a year. He likes taking a leap, skip a year, then taking a leap, and he's taken Arnold this year. So most likely he'll skip one this year. But from what all people have said, it's us, A&M, and Clemson, even though he did a interview with 247, I believe it was, and said Clemson wasn't in his top 5. Others have said don't necessarily believe that maybe he just left them out or whatever have you not. But the good guys still feel pretty good on this one, guys. And like I've said before, I think there's a reason that that commitment was moved up to the 7th with our huge recruiting weekend on the 9th. I mean, you've seen Billy kind of try to do this before.
He's 3 for 3. Well, I'm sorry. No, I'm not 3 for 3. In terms of big recruiting weekends, he's 2 for 2. I think we need to keep that in mind. So Friday Night Lights, LSU.
The only thing with that is well, no. I apologize. Cormani was before the UGA game, not the LSU game.
No, big weekends.
Oh, yes.
Not a commit.
Right.
Not a commit. He's 2 for 2. And when he gets, when they strategically group recruits together, possible commits.
Guys, before we get out of recruiting, and this isn't necessarily what you would call traditional recruiting, but lining up also with right before DJ's commitment and that big weekend of December 9th is a very important date for college football and what is now a staple of what you might call recruiting, even though it's not traditional.
Free agency.
Yeah, basically, college football free agency opens on December 5th when
Love it.
When kids can start putting their name officially, in the transfer portal. Kids have already declared they're going to be entering the portal, but they're not officially in it until December 5th. So that is going to be a big, big date, and here's why. And I know Steve Whitcomb put out a was it a tweet, Wes, or was it a message board comment?
Tweet.
Was it a tweet? Yeah. Saying that a lot of high school kids might have to make their decisions at least known to the staff. I know people don't like silent commitments, and I'm not a big fan of them myself, but they are what they are. Kids are going to start having to let these coaches know, or they might be losing their spot to the portal. And what I mean by that is you find an elite player in the portal that can fill that position. You might tell that kid you don't need their services anymore. Wes?
That's where I was going to go. A question to you guys. Just like I called it free agency. If you look at the NFL, they have free agency before the draft. So they kind of fix some things and then they have the draft. Do you guys like it this way where the portal comes before? I look at the portal as free agency, and then early signing day you get who you get. So they can kind of wait in a kind of a way. It kind of fits the model of the NFL having the free agency before the NFL draft, and I guess early signing day and signing day in February is the same thing as draft day. Do you guys like it this way? Or would you guys rather have early signing day and then the portal? I'm just asking.
I think you absolutely have to have it like this, or the kid's going to transfer out, because one of the major selling points of programs is playing time. So if the kid's already there, or if the guy, if I recruit a running back, for example, or a left tackle, let's just say Samson, right, or Baxter, because hey, you're to be a top 2 in the depth chart, right? I bring in a top recruit at running back or 2. That's going to mess up potentially where he's at. He wasn't promised that. So if you get your guys beforehand, then you go like, listen, this spot is for you. As you can see, the opportunity to play is there. So it takes away that potential lie that coaches do to kids.
Hirsch?
My one issue that I kind of have, and y'all may differ from me on this, is I don't like how tight the date is to early signing day. You only have a couple of weeks there, and some of these kids that hit the portal are not going to, they want to take some visits, so it kind of leaves you in a little bit of a crunch there. You'll also see who's tampering and who's not real quick by who hits the portal and has a new home in a week.
if you are the high-end players, they pretty much, it's been decided.
Oh, I know. And we know it happens. Let's make no mistake about it. Anybody that's listening to this that's like, but there's a rule. They can't have contact. Listen, these kids have friends on teams. There's all kinds of ways to backdoor this. You coaches make contact. Oh, and so, don't you? Send them a text. Ask them if they're interested at coming to University of Florida. That's how stuff like this works. These coaches have connections all over the United States. They may be a coach that the kid played for in high school that they know. Hey, ask so-and-so if he'd like to come to Florida. This stuff happens. It's no different than people dropping bags.
It's just like the NFL where they have what they call legal tampering period, where we know back channels that all from agents have already been discussed with GMs beforehand, and they sign on that very night. But how do they sign on that very night if nothing has been already discussed prehand? So I agree with you guys. I like it. Like Hirsch, I agree with you when you're saying that, because I think signing days on the 20, like after Christmas? Is it right after Christmas or something?
What is it now?
Is it signing day? Is it right after
early
Christmas?
Signing day? I believe it's before, isn't it?
Before, what is right? It's like 3 weeks. So I agree with you, because kids need to take that visit and see different things. But the back channels are at hand, so I agree.
But that also plays back into, and this is the last thing I'll say on this before we move on. is that gives you time to let these kids know that are considering your program, hey, look, you either want to commit here or we're going to go after this guy that just hit the portal that could pull it, that serves an immediate need to our program. Are you serious about coming to the University of Florida? Or are you just trying to use us to get more from another team? Or, don't use this as leverage because we'll show you we mean business and move on. The portal provides you that kind of comfort now that you can say, look, okay, you don't want to come here. I'm going to go get this guy who's looking for playing time and hungry for it. Just we'll see what happens. It's going to be a madhouse. People are expecting more transfers than ever. I think it's going to be crazy.
This is where that Army really kicks in too.
This is where the Army kicks in. You're right. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for recruiting this week. Like I said, we're going to have a lot more in the following weeks as things start to pick up and these coaches, they're done focusing on week-to-week games. So, but we got one game left, man, and it's a big one. There's no short selling it. It's Florida State, baby. Our most traditional rival, I believe we have. I mean, our old, it is what it is. In-state hate, baby. Mike, talk to us about Florida State.
Yeah, so just a brief overview once again of the Florida Free Shoes University. We got Mike Norvell. He's entering his third season at the helm of the current the record of who he is, the average 16-16. They a little fun fact: the FSU has not beaten UF since 2017. Also, Anthony Richardson beat them with one leg last year. And also with the interim coaching staff. Now, UF leads the all-time series 37-26-2. Now, lastly, the game will be played at Gregory Knox Field at Ronzook Stadium. Now, some of the stats for the FSU. Now, their offense. They're actually just across the board, both offense and defense. Their stats do stack up pretty well. Points per game, 23rd in the country at 35.4. Their strength is definitely their rushing attack. So 217 yards for good 14th in the country. Passing yards, definitely solid. 41st in the country at 257.7. And their third down, this is a key. I think this is going to be one of the keys for the game. I'm not going to touch on it later, so I can say it now. Their third down conversion rate is 51%, essentially.
Damn, that's good.
Yeah,
that's
good
really
for
good.
sixth in the country.
It's really
Now, defensively, points per game. They're giving up only 18 points per game, good for 13th in the country. Rush yards per game, key stat, obviously, because that's our strength. 138 yards. Good middle of the pack, 52nd in the country. Pat giving up through the air. Once again, huge strength here. 155.4 yards, good for 4th in the country. So once again, they do. They've had a decent schedule as well. So they are in the ACC, but at a conference they have played LSU to start the season. So.
Very different LSU team, though.
That is correct. And that brings us down to some notable games. That's where they beat phenomenal game watching that one. It was a thriller for sure, 24-23 in New Orleans at a quote-unquote neutral site. They did lose but 3 in a row, which pretty much everyone outside of an FSU fan saw, to Wake. They lost 31-21. Clemson 34-28. And also NC State 19-17. And that second half was quarterbacked by a pretty much backup quarterback who couldn't throw the ball.
Through.
Now,
2 passes in the second half.
He's bad. Now they did beat my boy Dino. That hurt a little bit, but they handled it.
That to me is their most impressive win on their.
Yeah, they handled Syracuse, man. 33. So they're playing hot right now. They are playing very well. They just handled the Raging Cajuns, Billy's old team as well. Now, some of the injuries, their linebacker, Tatum Bethune, hurt his shoulder, but he is expected to play. So just a little roundtable discussion. How are you guys? If we can get that. You want to skip that? Go back a little bit later?
Skip the impact players.
Impact players? Oh, my apologies on that. Good catch. So we got their star quarterback. He's been there for 95 years. It's got to be Jordan Travis. He's actually a Willie Taggart transfer from Louisville, believe it or not. On the season, he's 186 for 285, 2,500 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. So he's definitely efficient, protects the ball. Star running backs, Trey Benson, 121 carries, 854 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Big time transfer for him. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was just gonna be a
gimmick.
A gimmick. I'm not gonna lie. 33 receptions and 5 touchdowns. But he's a big play threat for them.
Johnny Wilson, 6'7".
Yeah, big old boy. Definitely a vertical threat. So giving our play versus LSU with that, definitely something to keep an eye on. Star player, potential first-round pick, Jared Verse, defensive end, 36 tackles and 7.5 sacks on the year. He's been banged up, so he could have easily been double digits this year. Defensive back, Greedy Vance, 3 picks, 2 passes defended, and linebacker, once again, Tatum Bethune, 65 tackles and 2.5 sacks on the season. But, guys, you have any particular players you want to expand on?
Jordan Travis. Of course, like you said, Jordan Travis has been there since the Reagan administration.
Okay.
The kid's improved dramatically this year. I can't say that. I mean, now I will also say previous years he's been banged up because he likes to run the ball. But we didn't put his running stats out here because he has really tried to be much more of a pocket passer this year, and you've seen the growth. 21 TDs versus 4 interceptions is fantastic. You know, I'll take that. I would have taken that this year all day. I mean, I'm just going to say, call it like it is. That's tremendous work by your quarterback right there. He's one of the highest rated quarterbacks over the last 3-4 weeks of the season. I believe I saw he's got like a 200 rating over the last 3-4 weeks. I mean, it's incredible play by the young man. And like we said, Johnny Wilson, 6'7" receiver. You better have a dog on him, somebody that can get up for the ball, because they're going to throw to that kid if they see the mismatch. Wes, anybody you want to touch on?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the running back, just for the fact of
which one?
Benson.
They do have 2 great backups as well.
Yeah,
I'm going.
It's a quality stable. It's a quality stable.
I'm gonna go with Trey just because he is the lead back, and I'm gonna go with him because of the missed tackles that we saw last week when we had hands-on guys and they broke tackles and made what could have been a 2-yard loss into runs. We have to tackle. I don't know if you guys, not you guys, I'm talking to the fans. If you saw when they played Miami, and I know this is Miami and Miami is not good, but he just bullied Miami the whole time. So that's a guy you're gonna have to really, really, really tackle. So I hope
we're taking that night.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have 11 hats. He runs hard, so you're gonna have to have 11 hats to the ball. I want to see team tackling, not just one guy there or 2 guys. I want to see 11 hats to the ball.
They also have another linebacker, and I can't remember his first name right off the top of my head. His last name is Deloche, I believe it is.
Kalen. I think it's Kalen Deloche.
Kalen Deloche, yes, thank you. He's a very fast sideline to sideline linebacker, and he will probably draw the responsibility of spying on AR. So keep an eye on him. There were rumors yesterday throughout the Twitterverse and whatnot that maybe he got injured in practice. But then they had a video of him practicing this morning. Nothing too dramatic. He was just going through some drills. So he could still be hurt, but he didn't seem to show any signs of injury. So that's a guy to keep an eye on as well.
So obviously we know Johnny Wilson is talented. However, I think he's more of a one-trick pony, just to be honest with you. I'm worried just because of our defense of the deep ball. But 10 games, he only has 3 catches of 3 catches or more. Yes, one was on Clemson, but he's just. I think I've seen some of his routes, and he's a deep man. Yeah, I think you can wash him out very easily. And we definitely have some, we have some bigger corners as well. So I definitely think we could scheme him out. They do have Micah Pittman, he is a solid pickup for them, an old Gator target. If you guys remember, followed his recruitment.
Oregon.
Yeah, he went to Oregon originally. Transferred over this past year, but their running back stable with Trey Benson, Trayshawn Ward, who and I think he's a little banged up, personally. And Toafili, definitely nice little stable. Even though Toafili probably can't even squat 225, they're very skinny back, but he's a scat back. But I mean, he's small. He wasn't a take for a reason. He went from like Key Largo or something. But also Fabian Lovett's back. He's a stud. They're without versing him, they're night and day. So that did contribute to their little losing streak. Yeah, absolutely. And the last one I did want to highlight is I think he had a pick against us last year, actually. The DB, it's going to be Jamie Robinson. He roams a little bit. You'll see him in the safety, linebacker, pretty much all over. But he's a quality player. But overall, are they talented? Yes, but
they're not. They're the same team we beat last year. I mean, they're more efficient.
They lost to Gregory Knox. Okay,
they're more efficient this year. I think they run the ball better than they did last year.
Yeah. Oh, and lastly,
once again, I mean, you look at this team that lost, like you said, to an NC State team, 19-17, and they were up like 17-3 in that game, and then just died in the second half against the backup quarterback.
And Hirsch, to piggyback off the NC State game, that's where I don't have a lot of faith in Jordan Travis in tough ball games. In my opinion, he lost them that ball game.
His pick to end that game was one of the most horrible throws I've seen this season.
And you take out that pick, he's just I don't know. I'm like, dude, like, win the game. Like, what are you doing? And it just I was falling.
That was his Kentucky. We'll say that for sure. That was his Kentucky game.
At least AR has the excuse. He's not accurate. So I mean, what's his excuse?
He also doesn't have a career 68 games played in or whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, if it's a close game, I definitely like this because I don't like Jordan Travis. I mean, if you want to take comebacks, I mean, listen. I don't count those Miami games. So I just
it goes back to what we were talking about rivalry games before we jumped on the air. Anything can happen in a rivalry game.
Absolutely.
They're going to come to play. And let's very much be honest, we're getting into UF now too as we progress this conversation. This is going to be the last game for some of these kids. Because some kids aren't going to be interested in playing in a bowl game that a 6-6 team gets. I mean, they're not. There's some kids are not going to be interested in playing in a bowl game. I mean, this could very well be AR's last football game as a Florida Gator. I think pretty much everyone kind of is on that page. This very well could be.
Are we doing a full transition to it, or you want to wait?
Well, we're doing a transition to it, but we'll hold off as we talk about some of this. But I'm just saying that let's just keep in mind that this is a rivalry game, and this is going to be for sure going to be some of these kids' last time playing against Florida State, and these kids have not lost to Florida State.
And remember, our team literally quit and
still beat them last year. No, Gregory
they quit, and probably for Gregory, they came back and they actually played. Because the week before they didn't give a shit, but that week they tried. You could tell by Dameon Pierce running for what should have been a
touchdown with his helmet off. Yeah,
absolutely. They gave a damn. You could tell they gave a damn that game.
Well, since we're heading in that direction, guys, let's go ahead and move on into some UF talk and start with the news that we talked about on our Raw Reaction. If y'all haven't listened to our Raw Reaction, please go check it out. Even if you don't want to hear a single other thing about the Vanderbilt game, I understand. But Ventrell Miller was ejected in the second half of that game with a questionable targeting penalty. And I'm not just trying to be a homer here. And is, as of now, slated to miss the first half of this game, which is just breaks my heart for Ventrell. Billy made mention yesterday that they're going through an appeal process on that. I know it has to be filed by the SEC. It's a weird way of how that has to be dealt with. I wouldn't expect anything really to come of it. I doubt it gets overturned. Most people seem to really not have a lot of confidence in it. They don't like to admit that they were wrong, and that's just what it is. So the first half, guys, we're going to be holding on by the seat of our pants as the leader of our defense is not out there on the field. Somebody's got to step up. That's going to be a big deal. And not only are we going to be missing Ventrell for the first half, but more than likely, Rashad Torrance is going to miss this game with the injury he suffered last week, which some people might not consider a loss. You're going to get Kamari Wilson probably starting in his place, which we've
playing
been
for a reason. Sorry to talk over you, Hirsch. No, they're
No,
playing.
you're good.
No, I'm getting tired of this. Oh, yeah, Preston Young, but they're playing for a freaking reason, okay? Like, and you're seeing that with Dean. Oh, he's playing better. No freaking shit. All right, they're playing for a reason, and you're seeing it. They're getting better. It's a different scheme, new scheme. But now, look at him. He's playing a little better. No shit. It should be. You're not at practice. You're not. If they're showing up to class, Devon Black's not coming in to save the day, folks, because he's off the team. Oh, you guys. Oh, he gets the onside kick. Oh, let's start him. Let's not.
You good?
I'm good. I keep seeing the same crap. Oh, yay. He's going to play. Like, let it happen naturally, and it will.
Rashad Torrance was the leader in snaps on this team. I mean, some people consider Rashad Torrance not being on the field not a loss. But with Ventrell not out there, I hate to lose experienced players on my defense. But, Kamari's looked good out there. He's shown the effort when he's on the field. Wes is giving y'all a tour of his.
I'm about to have a seizure.
My bad.
For those of you that watch us on YouTube, you'll know what we're talking about. But I'm interested to see what Kamari brings to the table. I just hate losing experienced players when you've already got your defensive leader not on the field for the first half.
And they have threats.
They do. And now we're going to move on and talk about some injuries to the offense. And let me tell you now, there's plenty. There's a very good chance that Mike and Wes might be suited up to play receiver on Friday if they can make it to the game. Because
I'm out of eligibility. Wes, I'm sorry.
I can give you a good 10 plays. That's it.
That's all they'll take them, because right now there is a good chance that Ricky Pearsall, Xavier Henderson, Jaquavion Fraziers, Marcus Burke, and even Shorter might all be out of this game.
Bowman me. We never specified which one.
Chicky boom boom Bowman.
Bowman me.
Whatever that announcer was trying to say his name last week. Good God. Hey, now, guys, granted, we're recording this a day earlier than we usually do because of Thanksgiving and the game being on Friday. So we won't know the true injury report until tomorrow. But there's a very good chance that all of these guys don't play this week. So it could be Caleb Douglas, Dejon Reynolds might be the man up again. And this is a secondary, as Mike told us, doesn't give up a lot of yards passing. So this might be a tough. This is not lining up to be the best of situations going into this week. Any thoughts, guys, on all these youngsters, inexperienced players might have to go this week?
To be honest, but I'm only really worried about one, and it's going to be Scooby. Can I call him inexperienced?
I mean, he doesn't have a ton.
So I mean, I'm not truly worried about the wide receivers because we are run based and we can scheme it out. We have enough youth outside. I think I guess I think we can truly control the clock, base personnel, so on and so forth. And we do have AR, and I think AR is going to give a damn because, selfishly, he'll think of, not the team, but, the NFL. And I think he'll overcome that. But I'm truly worried about the middle of the defense.
Wes, any thoughts?
Yeah. I think receivers will be a issue. Hopefully Reynolds can duplicate what he did last week. And Caleb Douglas, we saw for some reason, AR has a good rapport with him. I don't know why, maybe because he runs good routes. I know some people were talking about his lack of separation early on, but the kid maybe he had one drop since I've seen AR throw him a pass. So we have guys. I mean, Reynolds had 50 plus yards last week, if I'm not mistaken.
164, I believe.
And Douglas the last 3 weeks has had 3 catches or more the last 3 weeks. So we have 2 guys out there, and I guess Bowman is taking Ricky's spot. So it's an issue, but I've seen those 2 guys produce, Reynolds and Bowman. So I'm not too particularly worried about the receivers. Plus, I hope the game plan is what it should be, which we will discuss in a minute when we talk about keys, which I will, as far as our keys to victory.
Yeah, and with that, we're going to segue, guys. We're going to jump right into our pick 6 for the week, where we pick 3 things that the Gators need to do to beat FSU and 3 things we need to avoid losing to FSU. And with that being said, guys, we want to remind you that we have partnered with Prize Picks. And with Prize Picks, they will, if you use our code RESPECT100, they will match your initial deposit up to $100. That means if you deposit $50, they match your deposit at $50. If you deposit $75, they match you at $75 and up to $100. And at Prize Picks, you are not competing against other players. You're competing just against the lines that are given. And what that means is you pick whether, say, on a sample line, Montrell Johnson is picked to get 75 yards. You pick whether he will get 75 or more yards or less. And you add that up and you can parlay that into 5 and 6 picks and just,
win big.
Win big, baby. Win big. So once again, go check out Prize Picks, guys. Use our code RESPECT100 and get your initial deposit matched up to $100. All right, guys. We do it every week, man. Pick 6. What we need to do to beat Florida State. Mike, hit us up.
All right. So I think the biggest thing is we need to run the ball 50 times at least.
Where have I heard that before?
I would cite my sources, but I'm not going to do an MLA format here. So, but I already know that's going to be spoken about. And so I'm actually just going to keep it simple. AR needs to give a damn. He's going to, hands down, once again, be the best player on the field. If he plays like he wants to get drafted in the first round, we're going to win the game. I don't care who suits up a quarterback at a receiver. I don't care who suits up a running back. I don't care if Torrance, but I don't care. If AR decides he wants to play football, we'll win the game. If he chooses, I'm in my feels, I don't want to get hurt, we're going to lose. Because they are a more than competent football team this year. They're a solid football team. So they don't make a lot of mistakes. They run the ball well, so on and so forth. So we're going to win. We're going to go as far as AR takes us.
Wes?
Yeah, Mike kind of stole my thunder. I think he was cheating off my paper. I had go back to work.
No, that's why I added AR to let you elaborate off that. Nice try, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna combine what you said and go back to what I saw from one of the reporters. I can't credit the source because I saw it and it just clicked to me. They said AR said there was a couple times that he should have kept the ball on those keepers because me and Mike has discussed this and I got into it Saturday with some guys on Gator Days Discord about we don't know the play call, so we don't know if that's a direct run or if he can pull it. He came out and gave me the answer I was looking for. Credit to those guys that were saying it, but we don't know if he should pull it or not. He's got to pull a ball. Offense, especially when the offensive line is having a tough day, and to get some of those linebackers from keying in on the run game and helping the offensive line out. If you're going to make the comment that you made a week before and say, I'm 240, somebody's got to feel this. Well, dude, the keepers were there. There was one guy there that all you had to do was beat, and you can run. We've all seen you run through tackles. So you're not Michael Vick or Lamar Jackson where you leave a guy standing there and juke him. But I've seen you power through guys and keep going. So
Cam Newton.
Yeah, do your best Cam Newton impersonation. So he has to do more with keeping, and our line has to do a better job of allowing us to get more than from our backs get. They run hard, but you got to get them a chance to get 3 yards up the field.
You almost both made fantastic points. My key to beating Florida State is simple. You got to play all out, man. You got to treat this. You know, people on Twitter and whatnot joke, "Oh, we're their Super Bowl." Hey, man, you need to treat this like it's a championship game. To me, right now, this is the biggest game of the season. Not whatever bowl game we play in, because I'm sure we're going to play in some moderately non-impressive bowl game against an opponent that's very similarly not impressive. I mean, it just is what it is when you're going to have a 7-5, 6-6 record. This is Florida State, man. As I said a minute ago, most of the guys on this team, none of them, I guess, know what it's like to lose to Florida State. Keep it going, man. Say, I'm going to go out in my career and say, I never lost to Florida State. Play like it is. Like you're playing to have a perfect record, man. You got to give it all. Leave it all on the field. That's my thing.
Play hard enough where you want to retire Odell.
Yeah, man. Odell's been there as long as Jordan Travis has been there.
Whoop him so bad, Odell quits on the field.
On the field.
Matt, we didn't run up a score last year. I was a little mad, but
we did what we could with Gregory Knox. I mean,
there will be no Gregory slander.
And a first half of Emory Jones. Get that.
All right. The bottom of the pick six. 3 things we need to avoid versus Florida State. Wes?
I know you guys said he's been looking to pass more, trying to be a pocket passer, but the kid is a great runner. He is very, very athletic, and that has been something that we have struggled with as far as running. He's the type of quarterback that can get on 3rd and 5, can get a first down for you. And that's what I'm alluding to when I say athletic enough to do that, to hurt us in, which has been a problem for us all year, with the exception maybe a couple of games as far as 3rd down defense. And that's why we need to – I want us to make him a pocket passer. I want him to beat us from the pocket. If we can push him to do that and not allow him to get in 3rd and 5s and get first downs with his feet, and try to beat us with passing the ball, I feel like we have a great chance of winning this game.
Mike?
Make it blatantly obvious Miller's not playing in the first half. Period. Because if we get gashed like it's USF, it's game. It's coming from behind. We're not going to be able to run the ball like we can to change the whole game plan. So if we notice like, oh shit, Ventrell's not here, that's going to be a problem. So Scooby really needs to step up.
It's game 12, baby. I mean, I know that he's the veteran of the defense, but it's game 12. Everybody should know their assignments by now. There's no excuse.
The domino effect of that. Of a bad first half performance.
You better show that you're ready to play next year. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Mine, Wes kind of stole my thunder here. I think he was looking at my homework. You've got to avoid letting Travis dominate the game, man. He can beat you with his feet. He can beat you with his arm. He came back in last year in the game and almost rallied the troops from behind. We struggle with the kid. And we've said it over and over again. I mean, it's been a talking point all season on this pod that running quarterbacks give us fits, man. Now, last week we did a real good job of keeping it right in the pocket, not hurting us with his feet. But with that, you've got to clamp down on your pass defense too, man. I mean,
I think it's safe to say, at least, Hirsch, and this Tony at least has really handled it well.
I think he's you've seen the improvements. Let's keep that straight. Despite the score last week, the defense gave up under 300 yards.
No, I mean Jaden Daniels and the Vanderbilt quarterback, scrambling quarterbacks. I mean,
yeah.
Tony has changed the culture in terms of
you have seen.
Quarterbacks. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good there. And to that extent, I want to kind of elaborate on that. You just saw, and I understand Tennessee's defense is not good. I'm not saying that, but you just saw the same quarterback that our defense shut down for 4 quarters. I understand this pod says it often. Spencer Rattler is not good at football. Tennessee made him look like the number 1 pick last week.
They made him look like the number 1 recruit in the country.
He was once upon a time.
Yes, and he has that. And he has the ability to do that. He showed it. But our defense clamped that man for 4 quarters. I mean...
He's still counting. He's still counting touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, so... that defense we saw against South Carolina, I need to see against FSU. Yep. I mean, that's just plain and simple. Confused Travis. Do what you got to do. Like I said, it goes back to my point. You play all out, man. If you got any defensive schemes in your back pocket, throw them out, man. Show them stuff that's, put stuff out there that ain't on tape if you can. But, we'll see what happens. Guys, impact players of the week. Who we got here? Mike?
Caleb Douglas. I think he's going to step up. I think he's going to have –
Feeling my guy.
8 catches, $110. What a tutty.
$110 with a tutty. I will take that all day.
My guy.
Could have 2 receivers over. Had 2 receivers over 100 last week. Wes, impact player.
I'm going to go with Princely. He came out after the game and said, "My fault." I love the leadership. I love him putting the onus on him. He had a couple. I talked about it earlier. A couple of plays where he's in the backfield, but he didn't complete the tackle, where he's trying to sling a guy down instead of wrapping up and just making a complete tackle, something that you taught. So I'm looking for him to bounce back. He took it personal. You love to see that after a loss. Guys come out and say, "This is on me," taking accountability. No Zach Wilson things. Shout out to Mike and him hating Zach Wilson. But I
don't hate the man. He's just bad at football. That's a whole other sport.
He's just in your division. He's in your division.
Right. Look, this isn't we're not going to talk about Cougars on this podcast.
Yeah, I would just give him Mike a little
off topic.
But anyway, yeah, Princely, I need Princely to perform like that he's capable of doing. The last couple of weeks he's been phenomenal, and he came out and took onus on the loss last week, and I love that. It shows leadership.
Agreed.
My impact player of the game. We talked about him on the Raw Reaction. We've talked about him a few times this year. Is Big Dez, man, Big Dez Watson. I think Florida State's going to try to run the ball a lot, especially with what we put on tape versus Vanderbilt last week. I want to see Big Dez hold the middle down, man, disrupt things. Hopefully, we've learned some lessons after last week about containing and keeping contained to the outside, and Big Dez shuts down the middle. I want to see him grab somebody, slam him to the ground again, rip a ball out of there, Big Dez. Do something, man. I'd like to see Big Dez have another highlight in this game. I'm a big fan of the kid, man. I've come a long way on Big Dez this year, just like I have with Bernie. I'd love to see Big Dez in this year with a big flourish, and then lead into next year to be, just the central linchpin in this defense. All right, guys. Score predictions coming in hot. Now, I know ain't nobody on this podcast picking us to lose to FSU. UGA was one thing, but I can't see it versus FSU. Mike, what's your prediction?
I have us. I have AR playing for the NFL and playing his ass off. I have 38-20.
Ooh, goodness. He has become the new hype man. Wes?
Yeah, I'm going 30-24. For some reason, when I sent myself my thing, it wasn't on there. But 30-24, I kind of changed. I'm saying Princely ends the game with a sack. FSU is trying to drive, take the lead, win the game. Travis trying to go down, and Princely ends the game with a sack fumble.
Yeah, I'm going to go 34-31 with a rally. Here's the deal. We've come up short in our rallies all year in our losses. We fought back valiantly. Every game, we've said it repeatedly. This team has heart. They have fight. We've come up short. I got a feeling that we get behind in this game. I truly do. And I think this time we rally back and take the W late, man. I think we finally get a rally that we finish and it goes our way. 34-31. All right. As y'all know, this is a pod of the people. And as a pod of the people, we like to ask our people some questions. You know, if they'd like to ask us some questions, and we'll answer them on air. And we got a few this week off of our Facebook group. And if you haven't checked out our Facebook group, make sure you go do that. Wes does a great job of holding that down and keeping things posted in there. So thank you guys for all your interactions on the Facebook group. And Wes, hit us with some questions, man. What do the people want this week?
Yeah, the first question is from Theo White. He wants to know how much do you like the chances of landing Ricks and Lagway?
Ooh, you want to take that first, Mike?
Like the combo?
Why don't you give a percentage on each? Why don't we do that?
Yeah, percentage on each one. Now he wasn't asking like 90
okay.
Goals, but each
Thank
one.
you. That makes it a lot easier. I think Lagway is 100 just because he moved up. You know, I think December 7th will be a date that lives in infamy.
It's pretty close to the other one.
I think Rick's. I put it at 40%.
I'm pretty close to where you are. I'm going to say 95% on Lagway because you always got to give it a little room for O'Hill. Because, I mean, we would have given it probably 100% on Cormani the week he committed. Let me say this right now for anyone listening to this. The Lagways are different folks. That situation is not going to be handled the same way. So 95% on Lagway.
Fair.
In my heart, I'm saying 100, but in my mind, I'm going to say 95.
Probably smarter than me.
Ricks, I'm going to go with Mike there. Right now, I'd probably say it's 60-40 LSU. I don't really think Bama's in it as much as people say. I think this is strictly a LSU-Florida battle.
I think they're going after the brown kid from Heritage.
I think so, but Ricks loves some Corey Raymond. Don't get that wrong. He loves Corey Raymond. So, hey, man, got to go get him. I mean, that's all there is to it. You got to find out where you feel with some of these other targets you're after, and if they're not as serious or you don't think you have as good a chance as others, throw it at Ricks, man. That kid's year one ready.
And also, Ricks is arguably better than Cormani. This comes down to if of that caliber, how serious are you with football?
There's not a cornerback of his
right now he's
ability
the best,
next year.
Right
next
now,
year,
he's the best corner in the class right now in terms of playing right next year. He's the best corner in the class.
Yes.
So, how serious are you about football as a program?
Yep.
If you're, we don't have the funds or budget, I understand that, but that means you're not as serious. So,
all right, Wes, hit us with the next one.
Yeah, I'll just give a quick on my percentages. I go 90.
Oh, my fault.
Yeah, no problem. 90 Lagway, just because of what you alluded to with Kamani. Nothing's 100% sure in recruiting. and I'll go 50% with Ricks just because of Corey Raymond. I got to give him that due and what I know from Ricks and Corey Raymond's relationship. So I'm gonna give us 50% there. Second question. This is from Jay Stubbins. He says, "What's up with Scooby Williams not touching the field lately?" I know Mike was saying that he was hoping he plays for for Ventura Miller, but it was actually Derek Wingo that came in the game. I saved that for this because when you were saying it, Wingo actually came in place for Ventrell. So, any news, anything y'all think that maybe Derek Wingo has surpassed Scooby?
I mean, if he has, I don't think it's a good sign. I don't think Wingo's.
It's what the coaches see in the practice field.
Yeah, I mean, that could be week by week. It could be 1A, 1B on that. I don't think Wingo's good. Unfortunately, he's athletic.
I know that people that have seen and been around practice have said to me, Wingo's better than Scooby. And that's not a good sign for Scooby.
Correct.
But we're not coaches. We don't see practice. We don't know what happens on the practice field. But if Wingo's the first man in, that's who the coaches trust the most at the moment to play.
And that was it wasn't like mop-up duty. This was a game
that was as soon as he went out. You're right.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
All right. So next question from Bobby Miller. And I'll let you guys handle that. Well, only one of us need to answer this question. He says, "Is there any update on Zipper?"
He's probably out for the season.
Okay, that's why I just want to.
We're not sorry.
I think they've been optimistic he could get back, but I would bet when there's optimistic he gets back, that's before the bowl game.
Yeah,
gotcha. All right, another good question. This is one of our good followers who always comments and does things on the board. So I got to give him a shout out. Justin Wood. He wants to know what are you guys' thoughts on Napier's first year?
I think it's a resounding success. I mean, the depth we didn't have any. We had a quarterback who doesn't give a shit, can't throw the ball. We're bowl eligible. That's why we put it collectively at 6 to 10 wins. We didn't underachieve. Worst case, we're gonna hit the benchmark. I mean, we're not gonna get to 8. I mean, I don't count the bowl game, but even if we do, that's 8 wins. So 7, 8 wins. I would happily accept that. We progressed. The biggest thing is we progressed throughout the year. You saw the kids he brought in, the 3 stars of Caleb Douglas, progress throughout the year. I have him as an impact player in a rivalry game. So, I mean, that's what I'm looking for. So his evals are still good in the SEC. Oh, G5, Bill, yada, yada. They're still doing well. Transfers from Louisiana, we're going to have a first, probably a
first interior lineman taken in the draft.
Yeah, and he's probably going to get a brick as well. You got Johnson. So, I mean, what's there not to like? He's recruiting. The board still can line up recruiting-wise for a top 5 class. Keyword could. It will be a top 10. So, I mean, I don't see why not. How can you not say it's not successful? Where did he miss?
I'm going to –
besides play calling.
Yeah.
Which is arguable because he doesn't have his
I'm going to rank this in 2 categories. I'm going to rank his recruiting and the coaching. I'll give him a B+ right now in recruiting. I love the class he's putting together. I think you have to have a 5-star in your class, at least one to get to an A at this point. Because and I say that because of the Cormani debacle, whether it was on the staff or not, that was one you thought you had absolutely in the bag. You land DJ. I know DJ Lagway's 2024, but you land that one. It's like Mike said, that's going to be a moment in Gator history. I mean, I think that's going to be a big, big moment if we land DJ Lagway. That's going to propel this 2024 class into a whole nother level. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But as of right now, B+. Coaching, B-. I've seen some things, and Mike mentioned the play calling and some adjustments that we've missed on that I think is just year one growing pains in the SEC. Until you've head coached in the SEC, I know he coached as a positional coach in the SEC, but until you have to take it all on your shoulders, I don't think you truly understand how hard it is. And so But I think he's learned. He's going to – everything we've seen from Billy Napier is he has a step back. He learns from it. He adapts. He moves forward. So I think you'll absolutely see Billy grow from every mistake that he's had happen this year. So B- with room to finish higher than that if you beat FSU and then win your bowl game. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm at a B, alluding to some of the things you guys said. A B-, however you want to take it, taking everything into totality. I think the recruiting class where you finish up, along with the portal. I don't want to minimize how important that may be to his class next year. I've always said that Billy's a innovative thinker, or a guy who takes everything in and adapts. So I want to see next year he'll be graded a lot harsher, of course, being year 2. And the thing that I put on him as far as his ability to adapt. So I want to see what he does year 2. This is last question, guys.
Wes, I got one more point on what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to what I said about Billy learning from his mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
I think Billy realizes he mishandled the portal last year. And I think you'll see an adjustment in that strategy this offseason as well, as far as how he attacks the portal. I think they weren't as aggressive probably as they needed to be, and they've learned that that's kind of bit them with the depth as far as like missing on Jackson, the defensive tackle to Miami, and a few other players. I mean, of course, we got Ricky in the portal, but I think that he learned that we probably should have been a little more aggressive in the portal last season, and that's going to be something that he learns and grows from as well.
All right, so last question, guys, before we move on. This is from Power Serg. I don't know if this is his real name, but he says, are we that slow or mispositioned on the outside where we couldn't stop the running backs? Like the kind of last year, teams would take advantage of it. I guess he's pointing out the LSU game where they kill us with the same counter.
The counter.
Last year.
It's not the speed. It's not the speed.
No.
Mike, you touch on this because you're better to talk about it.
Yeah, so that's going to be all right, so once how it's taught, like you can, for example, you can spit, depending on the verbiage, you can spill, cut, the pull and guard, a wrong arm. That's another one if you're defensive end. When either the tight end or most of the time the tackle. If you're at the 5 tech, the tackle goes down, your head automatically goes inside. You're going to hit the pull and guard or tackle or tight end. Sometimes they bring both on that counter, but at the same time, it has to be in terms of that's just once again you said on the counter. Now in terms of like Vanderbilt, they're losing contain. That's all about body positioning. So obviously you need to crunch and close the gap. You never want to have a big gap because it allows it to cut up field. But at the same time, you have to allow yourself. If the running back's coming full head of steam, you're not going to be able to cover 15 yards and make that run. So you have to, know your angles. You have to know your athletic ability. So that's what you have to keep in mind. And you always have to keep that outside arm free. So one time they're essentially at a 45-degree angle engaged. You can't do that. You have to essentially become parallel to the line of scrimmage. If you're not parallel to the line of scrimmage, you're not going to be able to not only release, and even if it's gone, getting him for 3 or 4 yard gain, you're just not going to be able to get him physically, let alone be able to see him. Or if you see him, you're to turn around and at this point you're just chasing, and you have no chance at it unless someone has to cut back. So it's all about body positioning, and body positioning is the main one with that.
Yeah, just being
in awareness as well,
and knowing your assignment on each and every play, and not getting yourself out of where you're supposed to be. And we've had problems with that all year. We've talked about that forever. And I think that's just, growth within the system, young guys. And you always see that it's mainly the more inexperienced guys. And that just goes back to, like we said it from the beginning of the year.
Why they're not playing.
Exactly. Between that and depth. I mean, you were bound to have these kind of growing pains. It just sucks that we've seen them against opponents like Vanderbilt, who we should just out talent. But then again, Was that a lazy coaching move to say, well, we're better than Vanderbilt? We're just going to go out there and run through the motions and beat Vanderbilt.
A lot of times we'll keep it you just keep it basic, but I mean, if you're not getting up the field on third down, not to, through penalties, I mean, because we don't need to harp on the game you already did, but
yeah,
you're beating yourself.
All right, guys. Oh, never mind, Wes. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say thank you guys for your questions.
Absolutely.
We do have something in the work for you guys that participate in this. So we're going to continue doing this every week. So appreciate
Pot of the people, baby. Pot of the people.
Pot of the people.
Wes will hashtag that from now on and let y'all know that that's what it's all about. Pot of the people. All right, guys. That'll pretty much do it as far as Florida State week, guys. Hey, the final run, guys. I mean, we could go out great here, or we can, have a little stumble to 6-6. I hope we pull it out.
Just gotta make sure they keep climbing.
Got to, man. And show, like we said all season, show progress, show growth. Don't go out on a limp. All right, guys. Well, it's that time of the week again, and this will be about the last week here. Obviously, we'll have a few more in here when we get a championship weekend, and we'll probably do some kind of a bowl pick 'em as well. We'll probably throw something together just to kind of finalize this year in the pick 'ems. But last week, man, our man West finally had a breakthrough week in week 11.
Came back with a flurry. I wasn't on the pod that other week, so I wasn't really prepared, but I had to make a walk Mike down.
Wasn't Wes 8-2 last week?
Yes, sir.
Woo.
Every squirrel finds a nut.
Every squirrel. Hirsch went 6-4, and Mike just crashed to earth going 4-6. Some questionable decision making. UCLA.
That was a lot. There was some pick'ems.
Yeah. So on the season, Hirsch 78-38, resounding back to his resounding 5-game lead, and Wes and Mike tied up at 73-43 on the season. And it's rivalry weekend, guys. So we got some rivalry games in here, and then just some in here for pure, humor. We'll get to that. First and foremost, coming at us quick, Thanksgiving night, I believe it is, the Egg Bowl. Mississippi State at Ole Miss. Ole Miss laid a big old egg themselves last weekend. So, Wes, start us off. Lane or the Pirate?
Oh man, jeez. I'm gonna go with Ole Miss bouncing back.
I'm gonna go with the team that has a coach. I'll pick up the best. Call me crazy. I'm gonna go with the best follow on Twitter.
Lane was doing some stuff this week too. You missed it.
Ooh, boy, I don't care. I don't care what Lane was doing this week. There's a lot of
He's
smoke.
the next coach. It's not smoke. He's the next coach at Auburn.
There is a lot of smoke, and it is smoke until it's official, but it looks pretty official. Lane's shooting down rumors like he's playing.
Yeah, he was on that trolling bad. I'm talking about on it. And it's only Tuesday, and he was on it.
That being said, give me Ole Miss. Mike's not showing any consistency. I can't go with Mike.
All right, that's fine.
Oh, here we go, though. Michigan at the Horseshoe. Ohio State. Michigan, Ohio State. Mike. Keep in mind, Michigan has lost their running back for this game.
I'm about to say that. They just lost their best running back. It's at Ohio State. I mean, it was an outlier last year with khaki pants. So I'm going to go with the superior team, like always, even though Ryan Dades is overrated coach.
Wes?
Yeah, I'm going with I'm a big CJ Stroud fan. So I'm going with Stroud.
Yep. CJ Stroud continuously just silently marches on into what could be a Heisman Trophy and possible number one pick.
just a Ohio State quarterback, but that's not the here nor there.
It is what it is, though. I mean, the man's gotten done this year. I understand his schedule is about as strong as Matt Ryan's arm, but all right. Like I said, I'm going with Ohio State as well. All right, this game last week may not have even been in the Pick Ems, but after what we saw, Spencer Rattler, dude, we got to talk about it. And I know Wes is really ready for this. South Carolina at Clemson, but we're going to let Wes stew on it because it's Mike's turn.
No, it's my turn.
Oh, did you go first? Oh, God,
yeah.
I'll
I did the Egg Bowl first.
You're right. I'll be quiet.
Thankfully, I won't be here this weekend, but I wish I would be because I don't know. South Carolina hasn't beaten Clemson in 6-7 years, so I'm going with the Tigers.
All right, it's about to be 7.
Further left, basically. Let me say
it's about to be 7-8 because they're gonna come back. They're gonna come back down to earth. It was just inevitable that Tennessee was gonna pull Tennessee, and I'm glad they lost how they lost because their fans that program needed to be humbled. So it's gonna be Clemson.
Yeah. If our defense can shut down South Carolina's, Clemson's defense can shut them all the way down. If Rattler thought he was under duress when he played our defensive line, Clemson's is really going to probably give him a hell game. So I got to go with the Tigers there at Death Valley. All right. This is exciting. Oregon at Oregon State, where we once again put Mike in the corner of picking for or against Bo Nix. Oh, I forgot. He'll spin.
He's got one leg, so I'm not to mention it's at Corvallis. Go Beavs. Go Beavs, baby.
Wes?
Yeah, Bo Nix bounced back last week from me. Made Mike look bad. He's going to do it again this week. Oregon.
Man, I'm
Civil War?
I called him, and he said
Civil War?
You called Bo?
I called Bo. He said I'll make Mike look bad.
Oh, okay. Golly, if he said that, then I'm going with Oregon State.
That was good. That was good.
If Bo's that confident, I'm going with Oregon State, baby. Let's go, Beavers. Golly, got Cox and the Beavers all in this podcast. Let's go. All right. Well, after week 3, I didn't think this game would be much to talk about, but Notre Dame has bounced back pretty strong. And USC had a hell game last week. So Notre Dame at USC. Wes.
Yeah, we talked about progression and looking competent for first-year coaches, and what Freeman did from where he started at the beginning of the year, and Notre Dame looking like so bad. And his big win came against Clemson, and basically knocking them out of going to the playoffs. So all that being said, though, Caleb Williams is either 1A or 1B to the quarterback that we'll discuss in the next game. So I'm going with Caleb Williams.
All right.
Yeah, Notre Dame's not good, or not that good, in my opinion. I think I'm going to go with USC. They have the best player in the field, so a lot of times I always pick a team with the best player on the field. They have the best coach, and it's at home. So I'm going with USC in a rivalry game.
Yeah.
Rivalry weekend.
I don't trust Notre Dame to play well that far away from home. No. I think it'll probably be close at times, but in the end, that's too many horses on the field, literally and figuratively. USC rolls in this one. All right. This really probably isn't hard, but it's a rivalry game just the same, and we're going to go ahead and cover it because I wouldn't have guessed that Georgia Tech would have beat UNC last week either. North Carolina State at UNC. Mike.
NC State can't score with UNC. Drake, I'm going with the best quarterback in the country, and Drake May.
Mike, I'm West.
Yeah, Drake. Keep it simple.
Yes, sir. possibly future Gator, Drake May. Go Tar Heels. Just throwing rumors out there, guys. Just don't mind me. Just rumors.
Hopefully.
It'd be nice. It'd be cool. It's rumor season, baby. All right. We're gonna hear a lot of these in the next few weeks. Just get it right. All right. Going to the Bluegrass State, Louisville at Kentucky. Wes?
Should I trust Will Levis, Mike? Nah. He had a chance to give his team something last week and show NFL scouts against Georgia. His defense kept him in the game, underperformed.
I mean, that was Georgia.
I'm going with Louisville.
All right, Mike.
Louisville. Kentucky's awful.
Offensive.
Will Levis has got to do the same thing, I believe, that Mike said AR needed to do and play out of his mind for the draft scouts.
There's not enough mayonnaise in this world to make him play well.
Louisville's defense is horrible. Give me Kentucky.
And so is Will Levis.
Well, Will Levis solidifies his top whatever first round draft status because somebody's going to lose their career in drafting him.
Yep.
All right. Back to North Carolina. We got the Intellectual Bowl. Wake Forest versus Duke. Both teams sitting around 7-4. Some would say Wake Forest is dramatically underperformed and Duke is overperformed. Mike, who you got?
Go Blue Devils.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Playing over their heads. I freaking love it.
My God.
Man,
that man
it.
lost his mind.
God,
he's fired up. Wes?
Yeah, I'm going with the other future Gator.
I knew you were going to say that.
I'm going with Wake Forest and our new, hopefully, maybe rumored quarterback, Hartman.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of rumors about Mr. Hartman possibly liking the Gators if he doesn't go to the NFL. That tweet was sent out the other night. There's also rumors that there's a lot of bad blood in the waters out there. So I'm going to go with Duke in this game, man. I think Duke's really up for this. I think that this is going to be their Super Bowl. All right. Well, let's head on down to Coral Gables, guys. The Miami Hurricanes are fighting for bowl eligibility as they take on Pittsburgh. Wes, Pittsburgh, Miami.
Pitt.
Yes,
I know it. Mike.
University of Miami is literally awful at the quarterback position right now. And Pitt has with Slovis has a pretty solid quarterback, and their running back's very good. And Miami can't stop the run. So with those three factors, not even taken to Miami's lack of coaching, I'm going with a Pitt win and Miami not being bowl eligible with $8 million coach.
This podcast is a big fan of Slovis. We've said that before. Pitt rolls, and Miami dies. No bowl this year, boys. Sorry. All right, last game on the docket. Battle in the Texas. Baylor at Texas. Mike.
Dave Aranda? Is that the last name? Dave
Yes.
Aranda, I believe.
Aranda.
There you go. I'm not going with a drunk and a mullet. So I'm going to go with a superior program, and they have not been playing well. So,
Wes?
Baylor.
Yep. Like I said before, man, I've got to pick Baylor. I'm obligated. The 1 week I didn't. They won. So I'm on the hook for picking the Baylor Bears, baby. Horns down. All right, guys. that's all she wrote for the Pick Ems and this week's episode. We appreciate all y'all tuning in as always, man. It's been a up and down season for us, but we sure have enjoyed bringing you this content each and every week. We all try to strive to bring a little bit of everything to this show, and maybe if a little bit of knowledge to you guys out there, if as you get ready to watch the game. Guys, is there anything y'all want to add before we jump on out of here?
Bateman got us.
Ooh.
For those who traveling out there, y'all guys be safe. Enjoy this holiday if you celebrate it, and just eat a lot.
Yes, sir. Very much so. Safe travels to everyone. Be safe on the roads out there. Enjoy the time with your family. As Wes said, if you celebrate Thanksgiving, have a great one. Just enjoy the time with your family. Enjoy every minute. You never know what happens in this life. So make those memories and enjoy every second of them. As always, guys, please make sure you go out there and download every episode wherever you get your podcast from, and check us out on our YouTube channel, Respect Our Decision. Make sure you subscribe to the pod, leave us a like, and then leave us a comment. We read all the comments, get a big laugh at them. Shout out to the guys who say we need to talk about Mike Shorts in the comments of the YouTube videos. Mike Shorts has become its own hashtag by now. They're talked about on the Gator Breakdown Discord. They're talked about on YouTube. Mike Shorts is a huge talking point.
Until the
Facebook
fans
too.
Listen, until the fans they start complaining, which they don't.
Hey,
This is South Florida, baby. Like, I had to break it to them. There ain't no cargo short season.
Woo, Mike.
Chubbies, bro. 5.5-inch inseam. Got to keep the fans happy.
maybe our patrons can get you some new shorts.
Ain't no
We're gonna
new.
get sponsored by Chubbies here
All
shortly.
right, that's fine. I'll give a shout
Mike.
out.
Mike in the inseams.
Guys all thighs, yo. Guys all thighs, yo.
Hey, if they support you, got to wear them now. If the fans say
Mike's making his own trenches. All right, guys.
Guys.
If you'd like to support us as creators, as always, guys, check out our Patreon, Respect Our Decision. Big shout out to all our patrons out there, Utah Gator, Brandon Stewart, to name a few, guys. We appreciate y'all helping us grow as creators. Each and every dollar we make, we put right back into the show. We thank y'all so much. And with that being said, guys, Wes, take us home.
Appreciate it, Hurst. As always, we support our troops here. So if you're a veteran or you know any veteran that may need some assistance with trying to get disability benefits or anything like that, please hit us up, and we will get back to you with answers that you may have, because this is a show not only for the people, but for our veterans as well, because they allow us to do what we do now. And also on the YouTube, guys, hit that notification bell too. So when we do drop, it'll automatically get to you. So hit that notification button on YouTube. So whenever we drop, you don't need us to let you know. It'll alert you as well. So other than that, go Gators.
Go Gators, guys. Be safe. Much love. Have a happy holiday.
Peace.